turn out nice again. You should be used to seeing me in the wind and rain, battling against the elements, and what's known as an all-weather vlogger. You join me today in one of my favourite locations, and that's Malhamdale in the Yorkshire Dales. I love coming here, probably more for sentimental reasons, because this is where it all began, but the landscape is to die for if you work it right. It can be quite complicated actually, but basically the features include limestone, rocks which act as wonderful natural leading lines, and you've got a lone tree every now and then as well. Now then, landscape photography is all about good planning and timing. The latter this morning, I can give off a big tick. Planning, however, only planning I did this morning was a rough idea where I was going and arrive at half an hour before sunrise. That's exactly what I did. I didn't have a clue on the exact location. I didn't have an idea of the exact composition I wanted, but as the sun was rising, it just illuminated the foreground. Bit of a rush, but it all fell into place. Simple image this is. Limestone features the foreground, acting leading lines, and the sun was just acted as a nice balance in the composition. And I managed to get a lone tree as well on the left hand side of the frame, nicely nestled in between two crags. Worked out rather well indeed. Very pleased with it. Right, let's see what else I can discover in God's country. Just before I move on and before I show you the shot, I just want to talk you through it really. I don't often talk about settings, more composition, and I'll continue doing that. A lot of times it's not all about the settings, is it? But on this occasion I will go through it. Basically bracketed the shot, 3 shots, 2 stops either side. Bear in mind I was rushing around. I didn't really have time to get the filters out, plus it was raining quite heavily, so I decided not to, because I'd spend half my time probably wiping the lens. So yes, 3 shots, 2 stop either side. F14, you can probably see what I focused on here, the foreground. One point there you go, just in front of the camera there, that's my foreground interest. The sun was rising above the horizon. It usually does. Funny that, isn't it? 1 second overexposed, 1/3 of a second normal exposure, and 1/10 of a second for the sky with the sun. Quite high contrast scene, as I'm sure you'll realise when shooting into the sun. There is a little bit of lens flare, but I can soon get rid of that in post-process. Something I should really get into the habit of doing is using my lens hood, because that helps with lens flare, but it's just too faffy. F14, you can probably see there, that's the foreground interest. Why F14? I don't know. I usually use between F11 to F14, just opted for F14 on this occasion. Probably get away with probably F8, to be honest. So yeah, regards to decisions on what crops, you're going to see in a moment what decision I'm going to make. It may be a square this, if not a 4-5, 4-3. I've been experimenting certainly last year or so with different types of crops and aspect ratios, and it can make quite a difference to the overall image. Right, okay, there's some lovely weather rolling in. I'm off, see what I can find.
The strong wind shook my camera, which was on my lightweight travel tripod, but as always, this wasn't going to have an impact on me, so I continued. I was in pursuit of a lone tree, and it wasn't the usual Malham lone tree as you're probably used to seeing if you look up Malham lone tree. I wanted a different tree, and so I ventured further. It didn't take me long to find what I'd been looking for. This was a fine specimen of a lone tree. As on numerous other occasions, however, it wasn't easy to compose. I mean, who on earth had thought of putting a wall and a fence there? I made a full circle around the area, and strangely enough, this led me back to the Malham lone tree. But this was a different take on it. The elements continued to batter me. Mother Nature was proving to be difficult again. I took several images, most of which had raindrops on them, but one or two that didn't.
You don't usually find me ending my vlogs with me sat in my car, but unfortunately I had no choice. I was getting battered with the heavy wind, rain, and to top it off, some hailstone. And we're in early winter, so that wind and hailstone is rather chilly, and it was causing me a lot of pain on my face. I had to run back, so you find me in the warmth, comfort and sanctuary of my VW Golf. Whew. Good little session. I searched long and hard for an alternative lone tree to the one which you usually think of when you think of Malham. However, full circle took me back to that lone tree, but I've got a different take on it, a different composition. I just stumbled on it, but it worked. Nice curved limestone, nice S-curve, and I used my wide angle lens on that. Focus about a third way into the scene on the limestone as a foreground. That led the lone tree very small in the scene, but I like that. I don't mind that because I think it brings an air of mystery to it. It's often said, and I will say it as well, bad weather brings out good photography. You've got to brave the elements sometimes. You've got to be out here no matter what. As long as you're nice and warm and dry, good waterproof jacket, pants, boots, there's nothing stopping you. Get yourself out and brave the elements and get the image that you want. So, there you go. A couple of good shots there. Rather pleased. So I'm going to leave you for now. Till next time, keep smiling. Bye-bye for now. And I'm really hazed up to the point where you can't really see me. Or can you? Still handsome as always.